about the way your team was able to handle Utah's second half, but then in the fourth quarter when it cut it to one and respond down the last 5 minutes there.
Yeah, I just it's been like that for us all season. You know, basketball is about runs. We made our run early. They made their run there in the third and fourth, and we kept our composure. A lot of character in that locker room, and I always say that is we just kept playing. We made timely shots, but we got timely stops, and that's what that group in that locker room really, you know, they truly believe. They talk about defense, and we got stops when we had to, but that third quarter they came out and they hit us, and it would have been easy for us to just give up the lead and say, hey, we got to come back Saturday, but those guys fought and truly believed that they put themselves in a position to win.
Where does that composure come from when you don't have Luka and this is a really, crazy atmosphere and things have kind of taken a turn for them?
Well, you look at Spencer and you look at JB, you know, you look at those two, they have the ball. There's no panic. You look at Dorian, we always believe that we're going to make the right play, share the ball on the offensive end, and then that we're going to help each other on the defensive end. And that's what we did. Again, in a hostile environment against a very good team that's well coached, you know, we put ourselves in a position to win the game, and we found a way there in that fourth just to stay together and make plays.
Jason, with these 2 wins in this series, have you all raised the ceiling for this team?
There is no ceiling on the team. We're playing as a team, and so we win or lose. We just try to get better the next time we take the floor. To answer your question about the ceiling, there is no ceiling. We're too young to have a ceiling. You know, when you look at Luka at 23, JB is at 20-something. You know, you got a lot of 20-year-olds in that locker room, but they love to play the game together. They share the ball. They make the right basketball plays, and they really cheer for one another, and that's what makes this team special.
Potential game-turning moment in the first half when Bronson went down. You know, replays clearly showed him getting hit.
Yeah.
What did you see?
I was like the officials. I missed it. I just saw him on the ground, but when they reviewed it, it was clearly, I don't have to speak on it. The league will take care of that when they see it.
What did you think about the way, well, first of all, you were probably concerned about whether Bronson was going to be able to come back. No,
he's tough.
Okay.
He's tough.
Okay.
He's tough. Yeah. There was, I think the beauty of this team is he was out and we finished the half without him, and that just shows again, without Luka, without JB, we just continue to keep believing in team and we. And at halftime, I did have to ask, is he all right? And he was fine. He was ready to go. And I thought, again, he did an incredible job. He made some big plays for us offensively, and then defensively he helped. But again, this was a team win, and like I just told the guys, we haven't done anything. They wanted our place, and now we've won here. So now we got to put this game behind us and figure out what we can do better, and then try. This is a quick turnaround. Saturday afternoon is going to come quick, and we'll see. I know you guys are going to ask about Luka, so we'll answer that question tomorrow.
Playoff rotations usually get smaller, not expand as a series goes on. You know, even Sterling Brown got in there to make a couple free throws. What led you to trust him in that moment?
Yeah, well, I trust everyone. Everyone that puts on a uniform, it has to be ready. We've talked about that. You never know with injuries, COVID. You have to be prepared. We've gone through that this season. And so with the roster, with the rotation being shorter, I felt that coming down the stretch, this is no better time to get some guys in to see how they react. The game isn't over, and those guys were prepared and made big free throws and got stops there at the end.
What over the past years led you to making trust in your players and belief in them such a core part of your coaching tenure here?
Yeah, well, it doesn't work if your guys don't trust you, and I trust every one of those guys that put on a uniform. My job is to help put them in a position to be successful. Sometimes that works, sometimes that doesn't. But I just truly think the communication of us being able to talk about, even when we lose, about how can we get better, and that's a cool thing about that group. But you can ask them that question, because it's about them. It's not about the coaches. We're here to just try to help, and they do the work.
Jason, could you talk about your team's three-point shooting? It seemed like every time the Jazz made a run, somebody on the Mavericks hit a three-pointer to stop that run.
Yeah, you know, that's the open shot. It's the right play. And right now we're shooting the ball extremely well from the three. We got some great looks. Josh in that first half was incredible, not just shooting the ball, but his playmaking. He had 6 assists. And so it's just an unselfish team, and we always believe the guys are going to make the right play, and we also believe and talk about on the daily that we're going to get an open shot, and that's what we got tonight.
Tell us about the play of your bench, particularly in the first half when you outscored them 38-16.
Yeah, our bench was big. When you look at Maxey, he's shooting the ball. But it's just not Maxey, but Josh, again, this is what makes this team special, is that Josh had those looks in the first 2 games, and his teammates truly tell him that he has to shoot it. This is the right play, and today they went in.
Okay, we got one on Zoom, Kevin Gray.
Kevin Gray, 105 to the Fan. Coach, when you look at what Green, Cleveland, Bertans did, 14 of 20 from the field, 11 of 17 from 3 combined together, when you look at how your bench played, what does it say about the resilience of this team coming into an environment where most of these guys hadn't won a game in Utah, let alone played the kind of basketball they need to play tonight? What does that speak to as far as the resilience of your guys are concerned?
Yeah, I think really, you know, the communication level is high. Understanding what the atmosphere was going to be like. I think getting off to a good start, we kept that atmosphere down there, and then they got into it there in that third and fourth. But I truly believe that just the trust, you know, make or miss, guys are making the right play. There's no one's really forcing things, and that's a beautiful thing to watch. You know, Spencer's going to look and see he was 6 for 21, but he had some great looks, and we believe in the next game that he'll make them.
You guys just seem like you're in the zone in this series from 3. What's going right on offense, especially shooting for you guys the last couple games?
Well, I think the game 1 we missed some good looks, and that turned out to be the reason why we lost the game probably at the end. But it's just trusting each other, you know. It's every single guy, if they take a great look, we're happy as a team, and we believe in each other, we trust each other, and you can see that now Maxey started hitting his shots, Josh hit his shots, and that really makes it tough for the other team when maybe they prepare for a game plan that they can let them shoot. They start hitting them, and I think it's all because they keep their confidence up because the teammates help them.
Davis, well, what is it about Jalen? Because it just seems like they can't stop him.
Well, he's a great player. that's the first thing. He's worked really hard to get to this position, and you know, with the opportunity for him in this situation with Luka being out, the ball is in his hands a lot more, and he's been delivering. You know, like he's been doing that the whole season when, you know, Luka is on the bench, but now he just has the ball in his hands a lot more.
Are you surprised you guys are up in this series without Luka?
I'm definitely not surprised. You know, it's a team game, and I think we've done a great job in some of the games during the season when Luka was out, either with like some smaller injuries or rest. And you know, there's all the guys step up at that point. It's not like the next man steps up; it's everybody steps up and kind of fills that void that is left behind by Luka. So, and yeah, I think everybody's brought great energy, and has been the reason why we play really good as a team.
Since you and Spencer got here, y'all are the best team in clutch time in the league. With kind of that fresh perspective and that new perspective, can you put your finger on why everyone is so poised down the stretch, and on a night like tonight when they cut the lead to 1 late, why you guys are just able to kind of weather that punch and close out strong?
Well, I don't know exactly for tonight. You know, I think they used a lot of energy to cut that lead and kind of get close in the game, and you could see then some of them were tired at the end, and you know, our guys like Spencer and JB took advantage of that on one-on-ones. But all throughout the season, I think it's just staying disciplined. You know, reading the game. If you have a teammate open, find a teammate. You know, we've seen down the stretch a lot of shots for Doe and Maxey just because, you know, the defense collapsing on Spencer, JB, and during the season, Luka, and they always make the right play and find the open guy.
How good did it feel to see the Jazz fans boo their own team after they beat you guys 11 in a row here?
I honestly didn't even really pay attention to that, to be honest with you. That I had no idea that happened, but you know, at the end of the day, it's a game of basketball. Fans have their opinions. We got to go out and just play the same way we do. I actually had no idea. So yeah.
Josh, I do know something you paid attention to, and that was your 3-pointers.
Yeah.
How did it feel, just like confidence-wise, mentality-wise, to watch those first two go down?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, going into the game, obviously I was struggling shooting my threes first couple games. You know, it's hard to adjust to somebody, you know, playing you that way and dropping off. So for me, just going in knowing that I shot well in the regular season, going in the same attitude, and, you know, at the end of the day, like, you know, to make them, you're going to have to take them. So for me, going in, just stepping in with confidence, and, yeah, it was good.
What is it about the way they're guarding you that maybe did throw you off in those first couple games?
I mean, they're just so far. It's so when somebody's so far off you know, it's you kind of get indecisive. But now over time, watching film and watching what I need to do, you know, it's comfortable for me, and you know, just stepping into it and making sure I'm hitting them, and you know, playing with my teammates and just working around it. But at the end of the day, you know, every team has their way of playing a team. So you know, you just need to find what you can do to help the team.
How much easier is it with the approach the coaching staff has? You know, especially the difference from last season, just you being able to maintain that trust.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's always good to, you know, have the coaches' trust and the coaches behind you. You know, coaches talking to, you know, shoot it every time. Every time you open, you know, shoot it. And, you know, that means so much, not for me, but just the whole team in general. You know, it gets us on a roll. It shows that the coaches trust us, but it's vice versa. You know, we really trust in what the coaches are doing and the coaches' game plan, and it's just, you know, how we execute that and go out and just, you know, play as a team and play for each other.
Josh, what's that like for you guys to not only get a win in this building, but you had 7 players that scored 12 or more points for them?
I think it's awesome. I think it shows what the team's about, and what we're willing to do to win the game. And you know, it's just you know, unselfish play, and yeah, overall it's great, and you know, we just need to keep it up.
What was the mindset after Utah cut the 17-point lead down to 1?
I mean, Boston was a game of runs, so you know, they were able to get on a very good run. We just had to stay composed, you know, with Jalen and Spencer, you know, handling the rock. They did an amazing job, but yeah, you know, I think it's you know, it shows, it proves to them, you know, how you know, mentally strong and capable they are in big clutch situations.
Okay, we got one on Zoom, Kevin Gray.
Kevin Gray, 105 to the Fan. Josh, can you give us a window into the difference a year has made for you from last year's playoff experience to now, and what has been the biggest change for you as far as a mindset standpoint to see you where you are now as a player?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that the other day. I was thinking about when we came back to Dallas last year from the Clippers, and just seeing how many fans and how crazy it was in there, and how I wish I was playing out there with that atmosphere and just doing whatever I could do to help the team. So to see, you know, and be out there now and playing, you know, it means a lot to me. But you know, it's good. You know, a lot of hard work was put into that, and now it's just my job to keep it going and developing and doing whatever I can do to help the team out.
What did you see when you first went out there? I mean, you hit 3 threes like right away.
I saw the rim, I guess. You know, the first shot from the corner felt really great. The release, you know, it was I would say contested, you know, but we just try to play the same style, a lot of movement. And, you know, when you get them confused, you got that one step, and I just let it fly. You know, I had to take one shot where the shot clock was running down. But, I mean, I guess when you're a hot player, you're a hot player, so it just felt good to shoot those shots. And
What's these last 2 games been like for you? It seems like you can't miss anything.
I mean, like I said, for me it's more important about the mindset, you know, that you come out and you know you're going to get those shots and you have to shoot them with confidence. And, you know, we don't know what they're going to do yet on Saturday, but my mindset is I'm going to be prepared to shoot the open shots again. And obviously, like, there's like highs and lows, and this is now in the past, so I want to focus on Saturday and just keep making those shots, you know. But whenever you open, you just let it fly.
How much does the coaching and the way they've coached this season help your mindset, the trust that they've given the players? And, you know, it just feels like it's been the core part of kind of what they've coached this season.
Yeah, I mean, they have confidence, you know, they know what we can do, and they preach it every day. when you get into the game, they want us to shoot. You know, Josh made big shots today because we trust him. You know, everybody has each other's back, and it's not just coaching staff; it's also players. Like everybody trusts in each other. We pass that ball, we create good shots, and we know that people can make those shots. So we just gotta keep shooting them. You know, if we play on defense and we trust in each other, I mean, good things are gonna happen.
What was the mindset in the huddle after Utah put that 17-point lead down to 1 point?
I mean, you know, this is like a crazy gym here. Fans are really loud. It's like a really tough gym to play in, but we know that they're going to make runs. Obviously, we don't want them to make a run like that, but we still knew that we can win this game. And, you know, we didn't back down. We had guys like JB, Spence, Dodo make big shots for us, Reggie. So, you know, we know they make runs. It's just part of basketball, but we got to make sure that we do our job and keep playing in our defensive patterns, because even sometimes you do everything right and they just still make a shot, you know, and they just got hot. But overall, I think, you know, we kept our cool and just played the way that we have to play to win this game.
What's impressed you most from what you've seen from JB these last couple of games?
I mean, I think his shot creating and shot making has been amazing all season, you know, but the determination that he has lately, like coming down the stretch, hitting those big shots, the confidence that he has is it's just fun to watch. I mean, I was on the court with him, so whenever he gets into the paint and he gets like a little step ahead of like the defender, I know this is going to win.
Maxie, where do you think y'all's poise when it comes to clutch situations, or when it comes to Utah cutting the lead to 1 point before? Where does that poise come from this season? 'Cause I think it's different than years past. Is it the coaching staff? Is it just you guys having more experience? Can you put your finger on that?
I think it's a mix of everything. You know, like we have a lot of guys that play together now. We have some new guys, also experienced guys like Spence or whatever. So I think it's just learning, you know, from the past. Like we've been in this situation a lot. We had this one season where we lost a lot of clutch games, but you know, like we talked about JB just now. Like he's just a player to take over in those situations, and we have a guy like Luka, you know, who makes big plays all the time. Everybody else just got to be ready to shoot the ball and believe in themselves. But I think it's just like experience that we have from the past. You know, we've been in the situation a lot. Obviously, it can go either way, but we believe in ourselves and we have the mindset that we can win this game.
From your vantage point, what happened? You see the play where Brunson got hit from behind and was sprawling on the court?
I actually didn't see it, no.
Okay.
No, I heard after, and I think, I don't know, they said like review it or whatever, but I didn't see the play. I just saw that JB was on the floor. I tried to help him up, and I didn't know what happened.
And there wasn't any discussion at halftime when he was hurt?
I mean, I saw JB and I just asked him how is he feeling, because I just saw his back was hurting, and you know, it happened quick. He fouled, subbed out, and I didn't really know what was happening. So once we got into the locker room, I just asked him how he's feeling, and then we just talked about what happened, but I didn't see it, so.
The last one on Zoom is for the other Maximilian.
Hey Max, hier ist der Max.
Hey.
Wie ist das denn, wenn man in Salt Lake City ein Spiel gewinnt? Was kannst du denn auch damit?
Jetzt muss ich kurz überlegen, haben wir das letzte Mal hier nicht gewonnen während der regulären Saison? Bin mir nicht mehr sicher.
Nee, ich habe seit 2016 kein Spiel mehr in Salt Lake
City. Okay. Fühlt sich auf jeden Fall gut an, vor allem in den Playoffs. Also die Halle, es ist sehr schwer hier zu spielen. Die Fans sind sehr laut, wenn die einen Lauf haben. Dann ist man vielleicht gerne mal eingeschüchtert, aber wir haben heute wirklich Stärke bewiesen. Ein paar Spieler, die dann am Ende auch übernommen haben. Und natürlich jetzt in den Playoffs 2-1 nach vorne zu gehen, tut extrem gut, aber wir wissen auch, dass sie jetzt natürlich sehr hungrig sind und am Samstag rauskommen und natürlich ein bisschen physischer spielen werden. Von daher wird es nicht leichter, aber ein zweiter Sieg in Utah wäre natürlich auch noch schön.
What happened on the play where you had to go to the locker room?
I think Royce just, elbowed me in the back, and that's that.
You got a technical on it. Did you feel strongly, were you voicing strongly that you felt it was a cheap shot in the moment?
I said what I had to say. It's over with.
So how determined were you at halftime to come back out here with the sore back and do what you did?
I think most importantly, I saw how hard my teammates were playing when I was laying back there. They were just playing really hard. You know, just were staying in the run and doing what they're doing, and it kind of just gave me a little mojo to just come back out there. I mean, I knew I was coming back out to play. I just needed a moment. But I'm proud of this team. I'm proud of the fight that we have. But we gotta keep going. They're a team that's not going to quit, and we're just gonna have to basically just stick together for however long this is going to take. I mean, they're a good team. They're going to keep fighting.
What was the pain you were feeling? Was it just a bruise? Is it bruised or?
I was just pain. I don't know. Just pain.
How do you feel now?
Everything feels good with the win. Everything.
Was
So.
it lower back or hip or?
It was lower back. Yeah, pretty much just on the lower back.
Where do you think y'all's boys in clutch time has come from this season in particular? After in the past couple of years, sometimes it be hit or miss down the stretch. You know, when they cut your lead to 1, where does that poise come from, especially for you?
Just from experience, I think. Maybe not, playoff experience, but just experience in general. We have a group that's been together for a while now. I remember my rookie year. We had a lot of leads and losses with leads, and so I think as a team we kind of just saw that. We kind of grew from it. Kept focusing on finishing games, finishing plays. Not worrying about getting through the entire game. Just focusing on 1 minute at a time, 1 possession at a time. We just got more mature and figured out a way to stick together and just keep our accountability up.
Devin, you have 72 points and only 1 turnover in the last 2 games. How are you able to do that when you're constantly under defensive pressure from the Jazz?
It's really credit to my teammates. They do a lot, and wouldn't be able to do anything without them. They're great. I love these guys. They've been warriors all year. The guys I've been around for a while, they've been warriors. My success is coming off from them, so I thank them.
How would you summarize the way that this coaching staff has made trust and belief, really, in my eyes, in the way that they've talked about a core part, maybe the core part of what this team is?
Yeah, that's a great question. I really feel like with Coach Kidd and the philosophy that he's brought to this team and everything he's done has been predicated off that. And so, I mean, everything we do, everything we don't do is basically comes back to just our chemistry and accountability and making sure that we're all on the same page, we're all clicking, we're all talking in the communicative piece. Just making sure we're always on the same page, no matter what we're doing, scheme-wise or anything, just make sure we're on the same page.
What was the mindset in the huddle, Jalen, after they cut the 17-point lead down to 1?
Was it 1? Sit together. Really, that's it. Just stick together. They're not going to stop fighting. I've said that before. I mean, they have experience, but we just got to continue to play our style of basketball and let's just stick together. I know I sound like a broken record, but that's really our key. Just stick together.
Okay, we got time for one more. We'll look at Zoom for this one. Kevin Gray.
Kevin Gray, 105 through the fan. Jalen, you seem to be a little bit more vocal in this series. Do you feel like, as a player, the way that you've been playing, do you feel that you've become somewhat unguardable in this series, given the way that you've been able to really kind of get to the rim pretty much any time you've wanted to in this series? What does that mindset feel like for you at this point so far in this series?
My mindset and my approach has always stayed the same, always. So nothing has really changed for me. The ball has gone through the hoop more. I've obviously shot more, but nothing's really changed for me mentally and the mentality-wise about it. So everything has been the same for me, really.
And could I ask you one more about the college coach, Jay Wright? Your reaction to his retirement?
Man, I love Coach, man. A person who has done a lot for myself and my family. Someone I knew that when I went there, I wasn't just going there for the amount of time I was there. It was going to be a lifetime commitment. And Coach Wright has been one of the best things that's ever happened to me. You know, he's been able to teach me the game of basketball. Just he's done a lot for me.